to the ShakeUp. Streaming live in the ShakeUp mobile app and online at www.theshakeupam.com.
It is the ShakeUp, Alex the Great.
Yours truly, MJ.
All right, so obviously the Kim Burrell. They didn't get a chance to talk about Shirley because this was pre-taped. But Pharrell, Janelle Monáe, and Kim Burrell were scheduled to perform on Ellen today. Kim Burrell's performance was canceled, but Pharrell and Janelle Monáe did perform. They also had a discussion just about the controversy and just the things that Kim had to say. So I'm going to play some certain parts of this, but it does air today, and we'll tell you where to check your local listings for that. And I just want to play this part. There were some key parts that Pharrell and both Ellen shared, and I think that if we think about this way, we're in a much better place. Here's Pharrell and Ellen.
Supposed to perform it with a singer that I didn't know her. Her name is Kim Burrell.
Yeah.
And she made a statement. She was doing a Facebook Live, and she said some very not nice things about homosexuals.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like that was good of me to have her on the show, to give her a platform after she's saying things about me. So I'm going to let you talk about it for a minute.
Well, there's no space, there's no room for any kind of prejudice in 2017 or moving on. Like, there's no room. She's a fantastic singer. And I love her, just like I love everybody else. And we all got to get used to that. We got to get used to, we all have to get used to everyone's differences and understand that this is a big, gigantic, beautiful, colorful world. And it only works with inclusion and empathy. It only works that way.
Yep.
Okay, so I wanted to pause right there, and I thought it was really, really interesting. Like, I thought it was really interesting that the response from Pharrell, like, the response of love.
That's the perfect example of how responding. Like, even they could really be like, Kim Burrell was very hateful, and she was and so because of that, and I know some people have responded like that, they respond, whether they've talked about Kim's weight, they've talked about certain things. It's disturbing, but it's interesting to me, especially somebody that has grown up with a Christian background, and understands the faith, believes in the faith, and I can see this example of love come from people that only want to receive it. Okay, so he went further and said a little more things. We're going to keep going, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Agreed.
Live and let live, love and let love.
Yeah. Agreed. And I think, I say it all the time. I mean, to me, when I say be kind to one another, I feel that because as someone who has received a lot of hate and prejudice and discrimination because of who I choose to love, I just don't understand anyone who has experienced that kind of oppression or anything like that, how it only gives me more compassion. It gives me more empathy. I want everyone. I don't ever want anyone to feel hurt or because they're different.
Whenever you see something, whenever you hear some sort of hate speech and you feel like it doesn't necessarily pertain to you because, you may not have anything to do with that, all you got to do is put the word black in that sentence, or put gay in that sentence, or put transgender in that sentence, or put white in that sentence. And all of a sudden it starts to make sense to you, I'm telling you, the world is a beautiful place, but it does not work without empathy and inclusion. And God is love. This universe is love. And that's the only way it will function. You see, and I get it. I get that sometimes, like, some of the divisive stuff works in life. We've all learned that lesson, right? We learned that lesson last year, that sometimes divisiveness works, but you have to choose what side you're on.
Look, I don't know how that could be said any better. Like, honestly, MJ, I think, like, thinking about what he said, choosing to love,
And whenever you see oppression, and that's the thing that I think compelled me the most to be like, and I've written about this before, but it's just even I know having this conversation with my parents on, they kind of raise you the way that they want you, and that's even what they quote the Bible all the time: raise your child in the way that you want them to go, basically. And parents focus on that, and I believe my parents did a great job at that. But to me, there was so much there were so many things that were hypocritical about the church that I got to a point to where, and I'm just now at the point to where my parents have a full understanding. I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see that. So if I can live and believe what I believe the way that I believe it and be an example, because like, despite what you say, you like what you want to focus on, God hates sin, God hates this, and God hates this. I like to keep, and I've said this so many times this morning, I feel like for people that are living as Christians, you should make Jesus the model. It's interesting to me that they're living the same model that Jesus, like Pharrell and Ellen, their response to this is the same model in which Jesus would have lived his life. And that same example of love is and that is the only way that you reach people. And Pharrell made a great point. Sometimes division works. Sometimes hate works. We saw it last year. We elected somebody that was divisive.
You have to choose which side.
And there are people that choose to believe that Donald Trump was not divisive at all. We're just all delusional. He never said, what do you have to lose, black people? You live in ghettos. Your schools are horrible. Your communities are falling apart. How is that not? Well, that's not divisive. He's just telling the truth.
What I would like to see is, I actually would like to see somebody relay the same exact message that Kim Burrell was relaying it with love, though. Like in a different way, have the same exact beliefs.
And you know the reason that I
really
know that it can be done?
I want to see it so other people can know what we mean, why she was receiving all this backlash.
And I'm just having this thought for the first time, but I think part of the reason that I have that, I feel the same way as you. I've seen that same message relayed in love. Whether I agree or not, I've seen that same message done that way.
Right.
And so what I do understand, though, sometimes that our people, and this is not, I know I'm going to get some backlash on this, but we have to be talked to like we don't have no sense. And because parents do that, and a lot of us were raised that way, I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. We were raised yelling, get your ass, all of that. You better get your, like, all of that, like being talked to that way. That was their way of showing love. Yeah, it worked for us. That's not that model. For some people, it didn't work. I'll just put that out there. For some people, it did work. You wonder how you had 6 kids and only one of them turned out all right. I raised them the best way I knew how. Not to say that we have to get out of the mindset of everything that we've always learned is right.
That's perfect. And I think that's what a lot of people's arguments were.
Well, this is what I learned. This is what I know. This is it. That's not the only way. The way that you learned it is not the only way. And it's not always the right way. I am very happy to see Pharrell's response, though. And to me, it even meant more, and I hope this message is conveyed to people that are upset with Kim Burrell and that are upset with Shirley Caesar. Pharrell said, I love her. She's a great thinker. I love her. This is not going to work this way. And for anyone that has heard anything I've said, I think that's all I've been trying to relay. You can agree, you can disagree. It does not, that method does not work.
If everybody can understand that part, because we've talked about it before that people are more vocal now. A lot of people are more vocal. They're more opinionated. Like, we're just not the only ones. And people put their opinion and their thoughts out there. They want to, I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it was last year or just a few years ago, but people actually want what they think to be known. And they're fine with it, regardless of if you agree or disagree. What I want everybody I wish people would understand is that regardless, because it's people who I don't understand why they think that way, and I completely, totally disagree. But I also have to acknowledge that just like I have an opinion, they have an opinion, and they have a belief. I can't say that they are wrong for their beliefs and their opinion and say that I'm right for mine. If everybody's entitled to their own.
If everyone is.
That's what I think. That's the part that everybody
and
doesn't
I
get. I want y'all to understand that that's what we're saying too. Like, that's what they believe. That's what Kim believes. Like, that's okay. That's what she is free to do that.
Yeah, I think on a
I hope that we're relaying the message that it's okay to disagree.
Yeah, I mean,
and people should be respectful of each other and their own beliefs. That's what I hope that we relay that message well.
I think on a final note, what I would like to say is a lot of times people hide behind, and I'll say this response, you've heard this response before, it's not my belief, it's God's belief.
Exactly. That's what I've been told by people. That's what I was told yesterday by people. Well, I'm not saying this is not me. This is the gospel. This is what Christ teaches you. Okay.
It's all based on
it's the difference between how I feel. I think that's what I was told. You have to take your feelings out of it. It's the difference between, how you feel and what's right. And this is what Christ teaches you, and this is what Christ teaches us, and it's right. This is what is right. That's what they say. This is what is right, regardless of how I feel, regardless of my emotions or how people feel. This is what's right. This is law.
If there's anything that I want people to get out of this, is education. I think if you feel like this is what Christ said, I think that you need to go, first of all, reread the book, and then reread the books, and then analyze what actually Christ said, and then go back and understand what's in there, why it's there, if it applies. Search your own heart, apply your own convictions. Don't put your convictions and the things you deal with and the things that you're passionate about on other people. Let them do the same thing. Let them find. And if you're going to enlighten somebody, please be educated on what you're offering. If you're going to offer a perspective, please tell me. And it's a tough place to be in, because a lot of people are really passionate about what they were taught, or what their parents said, or what my pastor always used to say. And I remember learning in Sunday school. Do you remember, like, where's the lesson? Where's it rooted in? What's the origin of it? Where did it come from? Who said it? Who wrote it? What is this book? And some of you just need to, maybe you're not religious at all. Understanding the religious background that people come from, sometimes it's good to have that information, just to study religion and to study origins and religions and text. And if I can give you any buzzwords, just study people who put this Bible together, and when it was put together, the Bible in the format that you have it and that you understand it. Who put it together, why they put it together, who it was meant to benefit, and why they left certain things in, took certain things out.
That's all we're saying, kids. We got to take a quick commercial break before we wrap this thing up. 1-844-99-SHAKE.
1-844-997-4253 at the ShakeUp AM on Twitter and Instagram.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Wait, hold up. The ShakeUp is taking a quick break. We'll be right back in